Well, yes, start as we mean to go on. Hello again. We did for long, it's been a long time. Random music reference, so we can't do that again. But it has been a long time. Valentine's Day was the last time we communicated, I think. But did we communicate? That's the thing. I did some talking. Don't know what you guys did. See if now we do know that there might be a listener out there, because someone had left a comment on the Spotify thing about saucepans on heads, but actually colanders and laundry baskets. Now, zooming children around in laundry baskets is an amazing thing. The joy that a laundry basket brings. Not only can you use it as a boat to zoom around in, you can also use it to capture your brother or sister, depending. It could be, yeah, it's like a giant mousetrap. Like that game Mousetrap. Does anyone still play? I think you can still get Mousetrap. I saw it in a toy shop the other day. But if you knock it, that was the thing with Mousetrap. You spend like 40 hours setting it up, and then just to have your little brother or some friend just knock it, and then it went off, and you're like, oh, and you have to set it all up again. Oh, it's such an annoying game. Oh, it's really annoyed me already, just thinking about it. Anyway, so yeah, here we are again. Pleasant evening. I'm on the sofa again, just chilling out. We've had a birthday, so I'm surrounded by children's balloons, Octonauts, if anyone's asking. But probably no one is. No one cares, to be honest. Just a lot of waffle of just nothingness. I made a lot of yeah. Had to fix the balloon pump because the bottom kept falling off it. Don't you hate it when your bottom falls off? They're very disappointing in life. Well, bane of my age, I suppose. Why is it that people have balloon pumps nowadays? I'm sure in my day you didn't have balloon pumps. You just had to get on with it, blow it up. If your lungs gave out, your lungs gave out. But no, balloon pumps. It's all about balloon pumps nowadays. Oh no, health and safety is involved. Is health and safety involved in pumping up balloons? I'm not sure. Did some child blow up a balloon and then just inhale all the air, and then they blew up in some weird kind of pressure differential thing? Do like a love pressure differential. I love a pressure differential. Can't go wrong with a pressure differential. As long as it's at least 10 psi. No, PA. Not PSI, PA. We're not doing PSI. No, 10 PA. PA. That's what we want. Not PSI. That's just crazy talk. Anyway, so here it goes. Someone gave me a book. I've been given a book at work, and yeah, so we're going to try it out, see how it fits, because this is series 2, I believe, episode 2, series 2, episode 2. If you've missed that series 1, episode 1, where were you? Why have you joined now? Go back and listen to the rest. It's even more rubbish than this lot. Because we're just keeping it rubbish. We're just keeping it real. We're just sitting there. I say we, it's just me. Maybe I'm schizophrenic. That's another story to have. Because that happened. That was a conversation on last Tuesday. Which was, yeah, I have all my best meetings on important days. Anyway, beside the point. I'll give you a clue that we can... Anyway, back to the book. I've been given a book. Obviously, I don't give the titles out because we do that right at the end in case you want to read it yourself. This will be available. This is this is actually a real book, not a do-it-yourself one. So it should be available to purchase. We'll have a look later. The review was like Animal Farm, but with blokes for pigs and much better songs. Right. Okay then. Let's try it. See if it's a barrel of laughs as it recommends. lots of praises at the beginning. He's written a load of books, so we can't go wrong there. And then he's actually been published on actually quite an important publishing company. I feel anyway. I saw you. There we go. Let's start. Oh, there's again. We've gone for a book with no chapters because why not? Seems to be a theme at the moment. Even with shelving, actually with the shelving unit, did that have would you say that was chapters since it was made out of it had sections in it? Would that be a chapter? Yeah. Okay, we broke rules. Anyway, here we go. I saw you. We listened closely. The voice sounded slightly remote, as if it came in from an adjoining room. It was followed by a fuzzy silence. That's tinnitus. A fuzzy silence is tinnitus, isn't it? If you think about it, fuzzy silence. There's no such because how can silence be fuzzy? Because fuzzy wuzzy there. Fuzzy wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy wasn't there. Fuzzy wuzzy. Anyway, James gazed at the turntable as it ground to a halt. Okay, that's Keith, he said. You certain? I asked. Yes. Not Roger. No. He played the record through for the third time. This was agreed number of plays, so he then removed it from a turntable and returned it to its sleeve. As he did so, he gave the label a curious glance. Fabulous music, he remarked. I rose from my seat and went over to the window. Outside there was snow laying everywhere. Oh, that's good. It was lying everywhere, just hanging out. Snow. That snow. It just gets everywhere, doesn't it? When it falls from the sky. It's just not. It's not like one day you're going to look out the window. There was just going to be a pile of snow, just in one lump, just really, really, like a centimetre squared. Well, 10 millimetres. Let's not get pedantic, but there's no such thing as a centimetre. So we do 10 mil, and then just really, really high. Meters, let's do meters high. Like, you don't get snow falling like that, where all the snowflakes just stand on top of each other and just make long, big tubes of snow. No, it all just lies everywhere. It blankets everything. That's why they say it's blanket stuff. Hey, do you realise, I said, we're probably the only people on this planet listening to that? Well, probably not. Surely not, replied James. Just think about it, I commented. They released it almost 50 years ago, and it was a moderate success before disappearing without a trace. You never hear it on the radio these days, or anywhere else for that matter. The song was a deliberate joke. The lyrics are childish, to say the least. They're practically meaningless in English, let alone Chinese, French and Russian. I wonder if it's that book, a song by that, was it an Italian guy who did a song where it was just made up English? And it sounded like English, but it did really, really well. Anyway, marvellous ensemble performance, nevertheless, said James. Of course. I stood gazing through the glass. At any moment I expect to hear another record being played, but instead there was nothing. The room had fallen unusually quiet. A minute went by before finally I turned from the window and saw that James was deep in thought. He stared blankly at the swept boxes and the laden shelves as he pondered some questions of infinite importance. Infinite importance. You know it's going to be important. What about the other pressing? He asked, at length. Different ending, I said. Doesn't count. No, I suppose not. Besides, I added, no one else is interested. Nobody listens. Not properly anyway. Not like we do. James leaned back on the table. He had gone rather pale and was clearly shocked by my words. It's beyond comprehension, he murmured. Think of all the people in all the towns and cities in the world. I can't believe there isn't someone playing it somewhere. I shook my head slowly. Sorry, I said. I can assure you that we're quite alone. Well, you probably are quite alone because you're two fictional people in a book, and I don't see anyone quickly walking into a room right now. Outside the window, the sky was darkening. There was more snow on the way, and it would soon be time to leave. However, in view of my recent revelation, I was reluctant to abandon James just yet. So when he suggested making a pot of tea, I agreed to stay a while longer. Anyway, he said, we've got to solve this problem before you go. We adjourned to the kitchen, and he put the kettle on. Then the discussion resumed. It seems that my chance observation had alerted James to a situation he never previously recognised, and now he was determined to do something about it. I think it's worth one last try, he said. I found an attempt to make contact with others who are like-minded. I gave a shrug. What do you propose I say exactly? Well, said James, there's an idea I've been nurturing for a long time, but never brought to fruition. Oh, I'm going to hate this book, aren't I, because of the blooming words. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There we go. We could form a society for the express purposes of listening to records closely and in detail. Forensically, if you would like. Without any interruption or distraction. There would be regular gatherings and membership would depend on some kind of test to make sure people are genuinely interested. Now, the genuine test is, so I was at a kids' party today, bouncer castle stuff, balloon making. Quite an interesting balloon person, very good. That was an interesting conversation, let alone. But just on this note of musical tests, someone was wearing a Nirvana jumper, and I had this really strong urge to go up to them and ask them what their favourite album was and what they thought of what do I think of Bleach? What did they think of the didn't they do an album with Jesus Lizard on one side and then them on the other? Anyway, so I wanted to go, ooh, what do you know? Because I was the oldest dad in the room. We're talking reception year parents, who I am now a good 15 years older than them. So, if I was listening to Nevermind when I was 15, 16, then they would never have heard it when it first came out. I remember it coming out. I remember Bleach and all the, what was the other in oh, I can't remember. See, I'm not a big fan. I just know these things. But just made me annoyed. I was like, I wanted to ask them why they're wearing that t-shirt. It's people who wear Joy Division t-shirts and what are the other ones? Ramones t-shirts. Ramones t-shirts annoy me as well. Just because people. But yeah. Right, where were we? You mean a code of conduct? Certainly, said James. We don't want any charlatans. Wait, I'm sure the charlatans would be very good. They quite music. They know their music. He said for tea whilst he considered his idea. Where will we hold the meetings? I inquire. Up the pub. Good thinking, James replied. Actually, I hadn't planned that far ahead. But now you come to mention it. They've got a back room they don't use, haven't they? We could borrow that. What are you going to do? Take it away? Put it in the car. Drive off with it. Bring it back later. James had a sparkle in his eyes, which he usually reserved for only his best records, and I had to admit the feeling was infectious. Infectious. Was it really possible, I was wondering, to connect with others like ourselves? There was only one way to find out. We agreed to meet the same evening in the half moon. Prior to leaving home, I flipped slowly through the whole of my record collection, searching for nothing in particular, but simply absorbing the endless assortments of labels, performance and song titles. I thought this would be good preparation for my appointment with James. I left him working at his kitchen table with a pencil and paper, drawing up a list of possible formats for proposed society. Pencil and paper? Surely a pen would be better. Oh. The project had eventually seized his imagination, and I was eager to lend as much support as I could. An overarching grasp of the subject was therefore indispensable. At the same time, I remained convinced that my original theory was correct. There were some records that were never heard on planet Earth unless I or James happened to be playing them. That's true. I do have some CDs that I would imagine that no one ever plays anymore. My brother's got a load of records. I wonder where. If he must have loads of vinyl, but no one ever plays, because a lot of that was charity. My Mrs. Mills album. We love a bit of Mrs. Mills, don't we? Where, if you've been listening on Spotify, I think some Mrs. Mills came in at episode 2 and 3. But yeah, you gotta like a bit of music, haven't you? I've got my vinyl collection. I do have vinyl that I would imagine doesn't get played that often in the world. But some of it I think maybe. But I've got some coloured vinyl. Quite like my coloured vinyl. Got some picture discs. Love a picture disc. But yeah. How often does my shampoo picture disc get played? Oh, we're in trouble. Never. Anyway, because I don't want to wear it thin. Anyway. Where were we? Pencil, paper, yada, 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 possible formats for possible... I completed my casual trawl of boxes from A to Z. American, A to Z, before making a random selection. A black and white sleeve and a black label bearing the words, produced by Brian and Murray Wilson. The sight of it made me smile to myself. This was the perfect example, not a rarity in the sense of synchronicity. No? What? That's not even a word, surely. Scarceness. Oh, shit. Oh, please, God, kill me now. It probably sold 1 million copies in its day. Scarceness. Okay. But nevertheless, a record that was largely been forgotten. The odds against someone playing it in this particular moment were immeasurable. With this sobering thought in mind, I returned it to the box. You know what we ought to do? Maybe I ought to ask Spotify, not Spotify, but Reddit. Someone to get... There's the Do the Maths thing, isn't there? I'll do the maths. I wonder if they would be able to help me work out what the odds are of someone actually playing the same record at the same time. Because there's billions of records, isn't there? So the likelihood of anyone playing the same record twice, very slim to nothing, isn't it? Unless you've set it up. I feel like maybe we should do this, where we all play the same song all at the same time. But then, as no one actually listens, then it'll just be me. But yeah, anyway. What would happen if like hundreds of people all played the same song at the same time? But surely if you played like a radio, if it played on the radio, then surely that's all coming out the same. If everyone's listening to that radio channel, then it'll all be coming out at the same time. Anyway, so I'm sure there's a whole other... Oh, right, I'm being wrong, so I'm going to have to go. And I will speak to you again. Have a pleasant evening.